Hello, and welcome to the Eventual Knits podcast. My name is Leah, and I use she, her pronouns. And I am coming to you today from my home in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. A couple of things. One, I am not wearing my glasses. So I got a new ring light because before I was using like these big box lights, which are good, but they're annoying to set up, hard to take down and put up and move around, and they're like big and bright and hot. And so I got this ring light with my phone on the stand, and it's great, but also I get a huge glare, and you know, my glasses are really big and I'm farsighted, so everything is magnified, not shrunken down. So I feel like the light was really distracting, so I'm trying to record without my glasses. But you can let me know if you prefer with or without my glasses. I have worn glasses exclusively for like 10 years now. I wore glasses off and on as a child. I have a really bad lazy eye and therefore terrible vision in that eye, the lazy eye. So really what I should wear is contacts, but I have tried so many sensitive contacts, so many sensitive solutions, and nothing has worked. My eyes, I just spend the entire day miserable with itchy red eyes. So I like glasses. I like the way glasses look on my face. I like the way that they feel. I feel really naked right now without my glasses, but you tell me. You tell me. Yeah, today is, it's a Monday, the 16th? I don't know why it's impossible to ever find the date. The 19th? The 19th of October, 2020. Today it has been very, very lately snowing all day, so by that I mean the snow is extremely inoffensive because it will definitely not stick, but it is also cold enough to snow, which is upsetting because it's only October 19th. I do not accept snow before December. Not that the weather listens to me in any way, but still. I am drinking coffee out of my just got today, this afternoon, Stone Cottage Pottery and Farm mug. I have a couple other mugs by her, but this is my newest one. I'm so excited. It is so pretty. Yeah. I learned something this weekend, and maybe you didn't know this either, otherwise probably someone would have corrected me, but turns out AirPods don't work with the native recording app on the iPhone. So I've just been wearing my AirPods for no reason, just for fun. When I was editing, I would be like, huh, that's weird that you didn't hear me bump the AirPod just then, or that still sounds a bit muffled. But for some reason I really didn't think that hard about it. I was trying to wear my Bluetooth headphones so that when I hold things up that my voice isn't muffled or sounding distorted in any way, but turns out that it doesn't matter. Learn something new every day, so I'm just talking like normal and not wearing my headphones, but now I kind of also feel naked without those too. Anyway, I do feel like this will be a pretty quick episode. I have only a few things, but they're exciting things. The first thing I want to talk about is a finished object that I have, and I am wearing it. So I'm gonna put in some pictures, but I am wearing the Turtle Dove sweater by Espace Tricot, and it is a free pattern that can be found on their website and on Ravelry. I was watching podcasts last week, and I was watching the podcast Hand Me My Knitting. She was wearing a sweater that looked so cozy and so comfy, and I was like, I need to know what that is and I need to knit it immediately. And someone else, she didn't mention it, I don't think, in her podcast, but someone else mentioned it in the comments and asked about it, and she said that she had it on her project page. So I went and found it. It was a free pattern, which was really nice. The yarn is, I think, Woolfolk is what it is, knit in by Espace Tricot and also by Hand Me My Knitting, and I cannot afford that much Woolfolk. I think it's Woolfolk. Very expensive. So I went into the projects, and thankfully there are a lot of them, and I found that someone had used KnitPicks Wonderfluff to knit it, and it looked really cute on her. So I thought that that was fine for me, and I went on KnitPicks, and they did have enough of this color for me to buy. So I knit the medium. Typically when I'm knitting a pattern, I would say I tend to fall in the large because I have a large bust. And the medium, it said it needed 14 to 18 inches of positive ease, so I'm like a 39-ish inch bust depending on what I'm wearing underneath. And the medium is 54 inches, so it would be exactly 14, but I knit loosely anyway, so I knew that I would probably knit more than the gauge, and I wasn't going to swatch for gauge since there was such a big amount of positive ease. However, the pattern says that you need a size 10 and a size 11, I think, needle, and I think I don't have any 11s. Maybe I have a spot for 11s. I didn't actually check to see if I had any. I think I looked on my needles on Ravelry, which may or may not actually be up to date, and I didn't see anything for 11s. But maybe actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do. Maybe I have like some Clover 11s, or maybe I got rid of them because I hate Clover needles. But either way, I knit with a 10 and a 10.5. And so, I don't know, it ended up working out really perfectly. And you guys, like, I got the yarn for this on Friday and I cast it on immediately, and I knit all weekend and I finished it at like 12:30 a.m. Sunday night to Monday. So like technically not like a full weekend, but like basically, yes, exactly a full weekend. So I mean, this was like 25 hours of knitting. Wonderfluff is a blown yarn, so it has a core. The core of this one looks like it's like a blue maybe, and it's like the maroon on the outside. I'm getting fibers all up in my nose. So it does fiber everywhere. Like the blanket that I was sitting under, it's a white blanket. It has all the fluff on it. I haven't blocked it yet. I did weave in the ends, but I didn't really seem necessary to block it. It's so soft and so squishy. It's a very simple pattern. It's a top-down seamless raglan, so it has some raglan shaping and just a few short rows, but instead of doing traditional wrap and turns, it's German short rows, which I prefer so much. I feel like my wrap and turns always look horrible, and I don't know why. I feel like I'm following the exact instructions for wrap and turns and they just never turn out the way that I want, but it just had a couple, not that many. And look how cute, it's so cute. I love it. And I just happen to have, like, I don't even really wear earrings because my ears are so sensitive, but I just happen to have some earrings that my aunt made, and they match perfectly, so I wore them for pictures. It was really, really fun. And yeah, I'm probably gonna wear this like every day this week. Sorry, my hair is really bothering me today. I don't know why there's such a gap here. Anyway, so for real though, sweater in a weekend. If you want a quick, cozy, comfy sweater, it's like semi-cropped, I guess. I think it goes, I mean, it does, I chose the split hem. You don't have to, you can do a rolled hem. I chose split, and it goes to my butt in the back, and then it's long enough to front, but when I raise my arms, it of course raises up like to my waist-ish, so it's like semi-cropped maybe. I don't know. I love it. The collar, it's a half sleeve, and the hem are all twisted rib, of course you probably don't have to do that if you don't want to. I really like the way this ended up looking. I like the way this bunches. The collar, it said to knit 4 inches and I only knit 2. It doesn't sit up, of course. I only knit 2 and I think it's perfect that way. I have a small neck. It's thin, but it's short. And so I look like a no neck when I have a turtleneck on. I do not look good with actual turtlenecks. Mock turtlenecks I think are okay, but I also like my neck to be able to breathe, which is so funny because my partner Steve, he loves things wrapped around his neck, and my neck needs to be free, needs to breathe, need to be able to see. So yeah, my title is not clickbait. It was really a sweater in a weekend. Okay, I'm back. I could not handle that like chunk falling, so I just pinned it back. Just like I could not. Anyway, so that is my finished object. I was working on a few other things. Everything took a back seat to this sweater, and I'm not even sorry. I am so excited about this sweater. So good. So that is all I have for finished objects. Of course, it's really the only thing I've been working on over the weekend. There are a couple other things that I am working on though, so let's get into that. The first thing that I am working on is a baby blanket. So my brother is having a kid sometime in the winter. I mentioned this last time, and so I had some yarn that I bought for a baby blanket. It is... I did bring a ball, okay? I was like, where did I put it? Okay, it is Sweet Roll Sprinkles, which is a Premier Yarns, what is it, a 4 weight? Yes, a medium weight 4 acrylic yarn. Is it acrylic? I assume it's acrylic. Yes, 100% acrylic. And it is 245 yards, 224 meters for 140 grams. And it's this like really nice, I don't want to say gradient, but like color changing stripes of a gray, like a sprinkle, green, yellow, white, and then a teal. And I am knitting the Daphne by Tony Lynn of TL Yarncrafts. I realized that I love crochet. I love crochet. It is so fun. It's a really good way to mix up knitting. So I recently, ignoring this project that I just finished, this sweater, other than that, I've been kind of avoiding a lot of knitting lately because my finger, let me grab some needles here. Like I hold, I'm like trying to think like here. Yeah, so the way that I hold my knitting needles, I was just putting a lot of like pressure on this part of my finger, and so here was getting really sore, and it's like that sort of like deep feeling of sore, and I don't really push that hard, I don't think, but I think it was just the repetitive motion. And so when I hold the crochet hook, I hold the crochet hook more like a knife, and I can be gentler, and it's more of a twisting motion. And it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely better than knitting. And so I have been watching tons of crochet videos and really getting into getting excited about doing crochet, and especially Tunisian crochet. So I ended up buying some Tunisian crochet hooks, and I might start TL Yarncrafts' Tunisian crochet holiday sampler blanket. because now I actually have the hooks for it. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I decided to pick up my brother's blanket that I've been working on. The Daphne pattern takes 4 triangles and then seams them together. So I have one full triangle finished. So this is sort of what the entire repeat looks like. So the blanket will be seamed on, or seamed together on this end and not this end. So because of that, they're all going to sort of meet in the center. So they're not going to end up being stripes. So it's not like when I connect them that these stripes will connect with some other stripes, right? Like everything is going to be connected on this edge. So it doesn't really matter how the striping works out, which is good because I'm just sort of knitting or crocheting until the ball is gone. So for this one, it ended up being like 3 stripes of the teal. You alternate every 2 rows with the main color, which is just like a cream. I think it's a Premier Yarn. It's like cream. It very much reminds me of Karen Simply Soft. It's just not called that. And then it turns into the gray. And then as you can see, it has the speckly white whatevers. So this ended on the teal, which means that when I started the second one started on the teal, but you can see that it transitioned. It transitioned faster to the gray. And so I am 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23. So I have 3 more rows left. Oh, I'm almost done with this one. Let me see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, 20, 22, 24, yes. So it should be 26. I was like, did I do 26 or did I do 28? But that makes sense. You have to do 26 because you end on the main color. So yeah, I'm almost done with the second square. And you can see even right here, it switches right in the middle. So this is where the first ball ended, and now I'm on the new ball. So it's gonna be just a fun little blanket. Because it doesn't make cohesive stripes, it's just gonna be a bunch of triangles that connect. I'm curious to see what it ends up looking like. This weekend I watched her video on how you block acrylic, because I've never blocked acrylic before, and it was really, really useful and helpful. And I put a hand steamer on my wish list. My birthday's coming up in November, and you know, it's Christmas after that, so hopefully I can get one of those. If not, I'll just buy one. But yeah, what I realized though is that I can't read crochet patterns, at least not very well. So or maybe it's just so much labor that I kind of tune out. I looked at the pattern for the Daphne and I was like, you know, I'm like kind of confused and just like, well, wait, I don't know what that's supposed to look like. Maybe that's what it is that I don't know what it's supposed to look like when something is described in a crochet pattern. But TL Yarncrafts does videos for her patterns, and so it's really, really, really nice for someone like me who really can't read crochet patterns because she shows you how to do it, and I can pick it up just fine if I see how to do it. That's how I learned how to knit in the first place, was seeing how to do it. I know I say I learned from a Kids Learn to Knit book, which is true. However, I also, before that, had bought a DVD that taught me basically just how to cast on. You guys, I had a DVD teach me how to knit, a DVD that I watched the first 3 minutes over and over again for a while until I figured out the cast on. So yeah, I just have 2 more of these to do after I finish, and then I'm gonna seam them together and then I'll have a baby blanket. Easy. So that's one work in progress. I did say I didn't have any other projects that I finished, right? Because you know, this took a long time, you know? That crochet pattern is being done on an eye hook, I think. Yeah, I think an eye hook. The next thing that I am working on, I showed you last time, and I am making progress. It is the Autumn Mist Shawl by Lisa K. Ross of Paper Daisy Creations. It is a mohair fingering shawl. The mohair is not held double. It is separate of the contrasting colors. So I bought a kit from Miss Babs Yarn. It's the first time I've ever used Miss Babs Yarn. And here's where I am. So last time, I'm on the mohair part, so I really don't want to lose stitches. I mean, it's like fine, but it's also like, please. Last time, I believe, oh my God, I'm gonna have to hold the ends. It's way bigger than I think it is, I think is the thing. Okay, so last time I had started, I believe, on this third color, which is showing up really gray in the camera, I think, but is actually a gray with a very, very purple undertone. So I think I just started it last time. Like I was like maybe the second or third row here. So I am so I finished that entire section, and now I am on the so I have the first color, then the mohair, then the second color, then the mohair, then the third color, then the mohair, and now I'm on the fourth color where you can, it's very clear that we're starting to get into a purple here. So for the third color, I think I ran out of yarn, and so thankfully I had some left over of this yarn, and it was literally on the last row. So it's really, this is a very simple shawl. You increase, I think, 10 stitches every pattern repeat, and you typically do 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 pattern repeats depending on the section. So this yarn, I did finish, of course I did, because I started the mohair. This yarn, I have this much left, so, of the mini skein. I didn't weigh it yet, so I don't know how much, but it's not that much. And then the other two colors I have left are these two. So it's going to end with colors that are much more similar to the mohair. I am really enjoying knitting this shawl. I'm pretty much exclusively working on it during Zoom meetings for work, or when I'm otherwise just sort of sitting around upstairs, like on a Zoom call. I have been attending various Zoom things or having a phone chat or whatever, and so then I'll do a few rows because the contrast colors are just a garter with the very interesting border. So oh my goodness. Let me show you the side that doesn't have all of the yarns broken over there. So it's sort of like it's got a yarn over, but then I just feel like it's really interesting. This is the right side. The way that the edging ends up. And the mohair parts are just stockinette. So it's very, very easy. It's just remembering which, because it's a 4-row repeat, it's a matter of remembering like which, I mean, there's so much time in between when you start and end a row. It's like, okay, well, which row am I on? Or like, it has an A and a B. And so it's like, wait, did I start on A or did I start on B? Which one am I doing? And I've only messed that up a couple of times, and it's really easy to like fix, but you have to know which one you did. So that's where I'm at. I'm pretty close. I'm really enjoying the progress that I've made on this. I cannot wait to wear it. It seems really cozy and comfy and good for this weather. Oh, and I'm knitting this on I want to say these are 5s. Oh no, I have to put my glasses on, guys. Don't look at the rings. I cannot see where the... Aha. These are on 6s. So these are on 6s. Chow goose, of course. Chow goose are my my needle of choice. Okay, but you see what's going on here? Steve's gonna be like, I told you not to draw attention to it. It's like, no, it's okay. I'll just record without my glasses. It's fine. And what's really funny to find that, like, I'm farsighted, so my glasses are not oh, I guess my glasses are like readers, because readers make things bigger. Yeah. Yeah. So that is my like work project. I just kind of keep it in the room. The last thing that I am working on is a sweater. I don't remember if I told you about it last time or not. It is a sweater by Locatelli, and I think I talked about it last time where I had people vote on one of Steve's streams for which sweater they wanted. Yes, yep, now that I'm talking about it, I remember talking about it on my last podcast. So I have made an okay amount of progress on it. Oh, the cable needle's stuck in there. So I have... What have I done on this? Oh, okay. I'm like, I have to like reorient myself. See, I took all this time away here. So, oh, okay. So I have knit... I'm so disoriented because of this, it's not on yarn, that it's on a holder, so I'm like all confused. So the way that you're supposed to knit it is you do one side, one panel across the top, and then I think you're connecting underneath the armpits, and so I don't remember which is which. Oh, you know what? I'll just pull up the pattern. I keep all of my patterns in the KnitCompanion app. I'm very interested in the Knit Reno app that I think is in testing right now, but in the meantime, I do really like using KnitCompanion makes my life so much easier. Oh yeah, I started the cabling. Okay, so I am on... So I need to work for 6 inches in the pattern. What is this? This is the front. Okay, that I remember now. Oh no. I hope I didn't take the cable needle out. My God, why is my life such a nightmare right now? Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you guys for bearing with me, really. Okay, I got it, guys. I figured it out. Okay. I'm working on the front, so this hole is the head hole, and I feel so much better having figured it out. Okay, so I've just started the front. Have I got a story for you? So I have just started the cabling. Here it is. So I have 2 cables, one here, one here. So they don't cross, they meet. Okay. So I had finished the first parts of the panel, so these parts are gonna end up underneath, right? They're gonna connect. But I was like, well, I really wanna get to the part where I join them together, because right here is where I joined them. And I don't know what happened, but I got turned around and I started first. I accidentally, in this section right here, see these 2 stitch markers denote where the cabling section is happening. First, I forgot that you're not supposed to do the block pattern. The rest of this is done in a block stitch. I don't know if you can tell if the light's too bright or not, but it is a block stitch, which is just like, you know, 2 alternating rows of purling and knitting. So that was my first mistake. then I like got backwards. Like I was doing the block stitch on one side, but then I was doing, it's like I was doing the right side here, and then I did the wrong side. I started the wrong side on here on the cabling, and so it ended up being inside out for like 3 rows. And I realized my mistake, and I was like, damn it. And so I didn't want to rip back. I could not rip back all of this stuff because this was where all the connection was happening. And so I'd have to like figure out where and when I had connected the 2 sides. Like that was too much for me. So I just took this entire section and I undid it all the way back down to where the block stitch ends, and then redid it, which required me to sort of to cable by picking up stitches, and it was annoying. And of course I messed this up at night when I was tired, because that's when all mistakes happen. Well, when the big mistakes happen is when you're like, I just needed just a little more, I'm just gonna do this, and then it was a mistake. And I was really upset because I mean, it's right at the, it's right at the collar. It's so annoying to have the stitches not even for that part, but I really could not rip back. I could not justify ripping back because of that. So I just put it down for the night, went to bed, came back the next day, fixed it. It's fine. The stitches will even out when I block. It's like, why do you make those kinds of mistakes at night in important spots? It's the Cozy Neighborhood Sweater by Locatelli. I am knitting it in Berroco Remix Light, and it's like a plum heather or something colorway. So I'm not 100% sure how much I like the color. When I look at Hohi's version, hers is, I think, a solid, but I still think the pattern, or like the texture, isn't necessarily extremely clear. I don't know if the pattern is going to get lost in the texturing or not, but I want to see what it looks like. It was really clear anyway following it. Like, I honestly probably wouldn't mind trying it again in a different yarn after I finish this one. I think I am doing the medium, or I think it might be, I'm doing the 48 inch. So it says recommended 12 inches of ease. So I chose 48, which is 9 inches of positive ease, because 52 would have been too big. I think it's because I knit really loosely, or maybe it's that I don't have enough yarn. I don't really know. We'll figure it out. But I mean, it's enough inches of positive ease. So
6:08 p.m.
Oh, that I'll get it figured out. But yeah, so that's the last thing I'm working on. It's the Cozy Neighborhood. I am currently using, of course, Chow Goose in a size 7. I love Chow Goose. Like, these cables are life. Oh, I love them. And sharpness. No matter what, I want the sharpest needles. So yeah, I think that's all that I've got for you in terms of like what I'm knitting, what I'm working on, what I finished. It's been really good over here. I feel like I have so much desire to knit. I want to be knitting all the time. It makes me feel really good. I mean, my fingers hurt all the time, but I try to stretch them out and I try to massage them. I probably should ice them. I do have knitting comfortably or whatever, but it's like, first of all, I got it for like my birthday or Christmas or something from Steve, and it was one of those things where like I didn't realize it was like a textbook. Like, is deep. It's got a lot of or it's dense. That's what I mean. It's dense, and so it was really intimidating to get started. Even though I love like body and anatomy and all that kind of stuff, but it's a lot. So I haven't started to read it yet. I really should, so I don't ruin my wrists and fingers, but we'll see. In other news, I have gotten so many good yarns. Oh my god, you guys, so many good yarns. Okay, so that just reminded me that I have a really embarrassing story for you guys. So a couple weeks ago, Steve and I were like, we really wanted, like, it was a really gorgeous fall weekend, and we wanted to drive around and visit a yarn store. Did I talk about this? That was outside of the Twin Cities, and it was a lot of fun. I'm sitting here like, in my head I was thinking like, I'm definitely gonna cut this out. Now I probably won't, because I'm like, wait, did I already tell this story? I don't think I have. I feel like this was after I recorded last time. Okay, so we wanted to go visit like a yarn store that was not in our normal area. Same thing with the game shop, whatever. But so anyway, we got to the yarn store. It's called BeWoolen, and I did buy a couple skeins of yarn from there. It is a superwash DK, 280 yards, 100% superwash merino wool, and the color is Hungry Monster. I didn't even look at the colorway, I just picked it by color. But I love, love, love getting yarn from a local yarn store that they dye themselves. And these are super cute. They're just like natural with speckles. Yeah, I really like them. But so we were up at the front. I was talking with the ladies. They were getting my email. We were talking about, oh, I think I had asked about, there was a really, really pretty shawl, and it was really bright colors. And I was just like, how did you get that effect, you know? And so it looked kind of like mosaic, but it wasn't. It was just a creative use of the yarns. And I think it's actually an Andrea Mowry pattern. And I can't remember what yarns they said the sample was knit in. And I was like, damn, that must be some money. And so we were talking about that, whatever. I get really like anxious whenever I'm, for some reason, when I'm like checking out or when I'm ordering food or any of that kind of stuff. So I was like already sort of heightened. And then I was like, oh, hey, look at those pom-poms. I need a pom-pom for my hat. I have a hat that I knit last year by Hunter Hammerson that is really cute, but it looks really good, or it looks best with a pom-pom. And I had bought a pom-pom, and it was one of those with the detachable with the clip, and I had sewn on the, you know, clippy part, and then it was attached with a clip, but I think it got shut in the car door or something at some point in the winter, and the pom-pom fell off. And so now it's just a clip with no pom-pom. So I saw this display of pom-poms, and it was, I mean, like, you know, yarn stores all sort of sell the exact same pom-poms, right? And so I was like, hey, Steve, grab me that pink one. And you know, we checked out. So we were in the middle of talking when she said the total, and we handed over the card and whatever, but there's like this piece in the back of my brain that was like, whoa, that sounds way more expensive than what you thought it was going to be. And of course, because I'm me, she was like, do you want your receipt emailed? And I usually say, I always get if they give me the option, I always say, yes, email my receipt. I'd rather have an email receipt than a paper receipt. I'm just gonna throw away the paper receipt or lose it. And so, because I said yes, even though in the back of my head was like, no, wait, what? This was like literally my Minnesota night showing right now. So we leave, and we're on the way to the car, and Steve's like, what's wrong? And I was like, that total seems way more expensive than I was expecting. And so we like get in the car, and I'm like, well, some places charge a lot more for needles than I expect. And I had bought 2 needles. So I look at the needles, nope, they're like $12 each, so that's not accounting for the extra money that I did not expect to be spending. I looked at the yarn, nope, the yarn was exactly as much as I expected it to be, and I was like, okay, but how much was the pom-pom? Okay, sorry about bumping, I have a cat here. And I look at this stupid pom-pom. This pom-pom was $40. $40 for this pom-pom, you guys. It's one of those things where like a reasonable person would go back into the store and say, I'm not paying $40 for this pom-pom. It didn't say what kind of pom-pom it is, but see, here's the thing. I asked Steve to grab me a pom-pom. He didn't think anything of it. I didn't touch it before it ended up in the bag. This pom-pom is definitely a real fur pom-pom. I don't know. What is it? Fox fur? What do they make pom-poms out of? Ugh. So this is a pom-pom that I have. So a reasonable person would have taken this back and been like, $40, no. Me, I was like, wow, that's so embarrassing. I'm not gonna go in and be like, wow, I did not expect you to be charging me $40 for this $12 pom-pom. So instead, we just drove away. Here's my $40 pom-pom. In the summer, we had Zombie Knitpocalypse. We did a virtual version of Zombie Knitpocalypse, and one of the yarn dyers for Zombie Knitpocalypse was Adela of Lolabean Yarn. She was also the keynote speaker at Zombie Knitpocalypse, and she had a Zombie Knitpocalypse special colorway called Trolla, like Troll La, and I ordered several skeins, and now that I got the yarn, I definitely didn't order enough. Like, it's one of those things where I bought a decent amount of yarn at ZK. Like we had really like decided that this was like the show that I was going to spend money at, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, there's so many, especially this year because they're all virtual, there's so many shows I could be going to. Please don't bump the tripod, thank you. But I think I bought Adela's yarn earlier in the day, and so I don't know, I just thought, I mean, I went back, I did 2 orders of it because I was like, oh no, that's not enough. And then turns out when I got it, it really wasn't enough. So here is the Trolla. It is so good. It's like, this is the string bean, which is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon. It's 463 yards, so it's a little bit of, it's a little light, but it is like a blue-green base with speckles. It's so pretty. I have an idea of what I want to do with it exactly. And it's so funny because Adela had made a post where she was basically putting up seconds of this yarn, but it was yarn that didn't meet her standards because Jimmy had used too many or too much of like the dark speckles. And so, but it was so funny, before I read that caption, I scrolled down and I was like, oh, I want this yarn so bad. And it's like, you're never gonna get Lolabean yarn. It's so hard to get Lolabean yarn. And then I was like, oh, it's in the Troll. I already have that. That is gorgeous yarn. I already know what I'm gonna knit with it. I can tell you actually what I'm going to knit with it. I think. I need to see what it's going to look like. Oh my God, Nero. Why are my cats so ridiculous? I'm going to knit the Ohmay tee by Norichan, knits Noriko Ho. I'm going to be knitting the tunic length, not the crop. And it is done in fingering weight with a size 6 yarn though, or size 6 needle though. And yeah, it's still on sale if you can go on Ravelry. I think she might have, I don't know if she has like a site also. The pattern was actually gifted to me by a very kind Instagram friend of mine named Ginger. She, oh my God, this is what I deal with. This is what I deal with. Yeah, she gifted it to me. She does a lot of test knits of patterns that I really end up enjoying and end up knitting. And so, yeah, that was really kind of her to do, but she gifted it to me on Ravelry. So that's where I'm going to be knitting it from. The next thing that I got is a kit that I ordered a while ago. It is a kit collab between Longdog Yarn and knit two together. And it is a the colorways Lightning Bug and Firefly. So it looks, I feel like it's a little more yellow in this light, but it's actually a very rich gold, but it's tonal with some blue with speckles. And it comes with this Firefly Lightning Bug bag. And I was really happy to get this because Steve and I do walks in the summer, and we pass lots of fireflies on our walks, and it's just like really special to us to walk in the dark and see all these fireflies and just like enjoy the peacefulness and the darkness, and I don't know, it just was really special. And so I was really excited to actually get one of these kits. And yeah, so it was dyed up a little while ago and I just got it. Halloween yarn that I just got that I'm really enjoying is from Hawari Bazaar yarn. It's Nova fingering, 75/25 also. It's called It's Alive, so it's like a Halloween colorway, and it's like bright and neon, and it's greens with, and oh, it's alive. Yeah, it's very, very good. And the last one I think I'm going to show you, I'll show you two more, is this Labien Aimee merino singles. So I told you before, but I'll tell you again because you might not remember or haven't seen it before. I am collecting all of Labien Aimee's Miyazaki colorways. If you don't know me that well, you know that if you do know me that well, you know that I really like Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki movies, and I have a full tattoo sleeve of Miyazaki films, or Studio Ghibli films, and so Labien Aimee is doing a Miyazaki collection, and she has dyed a few colorways, and most of those were sort of more like this, where they're like kind of watercolory, a little bit less bright, but watercolory overall. This next one, and I'm doing them all in singles, this next one is more subdued, and it's Mei and Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro. So it's more of earthy, toned down, natural, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna do something with all of the colors together. I think I had initially thought maybe I'll do like a fade sweater or something, but if they don't all work together, I don't mind putting them in separate things like shawls or some kind of a scrappy sweater or something like that. And then lastly, I bought, for the first time in a while, I bought a Gauge Dye Works yarn. This is for a shawl. It's a 2-ply fingering, 100% superwash merino, 390 meters, 425 yards, in the colorway Siren Song. 4 to 6. Is this a DK? Might be DK. I put it with my fingering weight. So if you've ever seen Gauge Dye Works, they usually have like one chunk of their yarn is like, if you think of it in a shawl, one chunk is all of the colors, and then one chunk is the solid. So we'll see what this ends up being, but it's a little different than what I normally use, but I do really appreciate a good gauge dye. All right, my Nick is asleep because of a very heavy cat. So yeah, those are the yarns that I've gotten recently. Very excited about those. And yeah, so I'm gonna knit the Ohmay tee sometime soon. It looks like it'll be a pretty quick knit, but I really want to continue working on my current works in progress. Get excited because I'm going to be doing a giveaway coming up here. I'm not really sure if I want to do any requirements or if it's just like, I don't know, comment or something. I don't know if I want to do it here or on Instagram. So if you have any opinions, let me know. I'm not going to do like a huge crazy requirement or anything like that. But I need people in order to actually do the giveaway, so let me know. I don't follow giveaways, so I don't know how they're run. So if you have any good tips, let me know. Yeah, so that's basically it for me. Otherwise, I've just been watching Steve stream and listening to podcasts, and I finished a book called Real Men Knit. It's by Kwana Jackson. I listened to it on audiobook form. It was narrated by Keeler Lee. It was really good, really, really good. So I actually got this on a recommendation from a friend who doesn't knit and doesn't know anything about knitting, and she specifically told me that she didn't understand anything about the knitting parts. So Real Men Knit is about a woman in New York who it opens with the woman of the house basically having died. So it's these 4 brothers. They were all adoptees. I think all of them are described as mixed race, like Korean and Black or Latino and Black. Everyone is raised by a woman named Mama Joy, and she has died at the beginning of the book, but she owned a yarn shop, and you know, the whole family's broken up, and like these boys, you know, have had Mama Joy as, you know, their stability, and you know, like the one person who's believed in them, who you know, made them feel safe. And then the main character, she comes from a complicated family, and so she spent a lot of time at the yarn shop. And it's a romance. It's really like a romance novel, but it's a slow burn. It is a lot about trying to get the yarn shop off the ground. What are the logistics? What about other jobs? What about you know, other people and love lives and stuff like that. And I don't know, Keeler does a really good job of convincing you of the personalities of the characters. This book is really cool because it seamlessly transitions between the two, the main character and her love interest. So it's really cool because you get to hear, like, it bounces between their perspectives, but not in a jarring way. I think especially the way it's narrated, it's really seamless, and like, it's a romance, but it's not super explicit or anything. Like, I mean, it's an adult book, but I don't think that it's what am I saying? It's not erotica or anything like that. I don't read a lot of like light novels, and so I just don't have a lot of comparison, but I loved this book. It was so good. I really loved the knitting talk. I loved the romance. I loved the relationship between everybody. It was just such a good book. I feel like it touched on a lot of it was realistic is what I mean to say. It was a realistic book, I feel like, in terms of how everything came together, the experiences that everyone's going through. I feel like the author really captured what it's like to have a difficult home life, to have a lot of internalized self-esteem kind of issues based upon what you went through growing up, and just about your self-worth. I don't know, it's very, very interesting. And it's not, the main character, she's really self-assured, I think, for the most part. Like, she doesn't have any like am I worthy issues. She's very confident in like who she is in that way. But her love interest, like, he does not have that same experience, and it's really neat that you get to see into sort of his perspective and psyche. Like, you don't just experience like his like stone-faced response from her perspective, where you can't really read into what he's thinking or what he's getting at. So you as the listener or the reader get to experience that, and I think it's really important to the character development in the story. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed that it was deeper than just like, you know, game playing and relationships. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, so I really recommend that you read it, especially if you like knitting and you're also interested in a romance. Yeah, highly recommend. All right, I think that is it for me for this week. Thank you so much for checking me out if you are a new viewer, and thank you so much for returning if you are a returning viewer. I always like to talk to my listeners and watchers. I really enjoy sharing my knitting and crochet with you, my fiber arts, and I don't think I actually said this at the beginning. My Instagram handle is miss_LJV. please feel free to add me on Instagram. Instagram is my social media of choice, and so I am relatively active on there in terms of being able to respond to and see messages and whatnot. So please feel free to add me if you are a social media person. I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye! Now,